Is up, YouTube? It's Vince the Prince back here again for another Power Rankings video, Week 12. We are getting close to the end of the season, guys. There's not going to be many more of these. We are going to go into the playoffs with Power Rankings, but those videos will be much shorter as there will only be about 14 teams to start off. Then it gets cut in half. Then it gets cut in half again. So after that, obviously, my Power Rankings videos will just be right before the Super Bowl when we get into the NFC and AFC Championship. And then that will be it for us, guys. So we have about just maybe 7 or 8 more videos left to go. Maybe 9. We'll see. We will see. But we'll get right into this one. Obviously, our grading criteria that we always go over is the offensive and defensive grading for points allowed or scored, offensive and defensive efficiency, and strength in defensive and offensive matchups. So first off, very sadly, I have the Los Angeles Rams. They just played the best football this week. Not really much on offense, as the Seattle Seahawks defense really kind of shut them out for the entire second half, basically. But they just played well. They got the dub, obviously 21-19. A really good defensive matchup, in my opinion. But the LA Rams got the dub, right? They played as well as they could on offense with the type of defense they played up against, but they played even better defense, holding the Seattle Seahawks to minimal points. Obviously, we only got about 1 touchdown this game, 4 field goals, and an extra point. But it just didn't work out. So, in my opinion, LA Rams are playing their best football. They just get it done in every single game. Obviously, they lead the division there in the NFC West, and I believe that they lead the entire NFC, if I'm not mistaken, right now. Basically tied with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're better than Philly, but, NFC standings and the playoff brackets say otherwise. But other than that, I really do think that next week the LA Rams should go ahead and get a pretty easy dub, in my opinion. It's not like playing the Seahawks again, so obviously they are going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A little bit easier to stop this team at this point in time as they are heavily injured, but you never know. I'm hoping for the Buccaneers to get a win here against the LA Rams, so that way when we get a win against the Titans, hopefully, hopefully, can't say it yet. Hopefully we can move back up in the division there in the NFC West. But other than that, the Rams are a really great team. Have nothing but the best wishes for them. Hope they make the playoffs too, so that way we can beat them there. But we'll wait until a couple of weeks down the road when we play them again. At number 2, I have the New England Patriots. In my opinion, this team is playing the best football almost in every single category. This past week, obviously getting the dub against the Jets. I think they played really well on offense, as they usually do, and obviously defense held down the Jets. Really nothing to it there for them, but the Patriots just played a very good game. They have the best record in the entire NFL, tied with the Denver Broncos. I believe they are the best team in the AFC right now as they are playing. But the Buffalo Bills are right on their heels at 7-3, basically 1.5 games behind, as the New England Patriots have a really late bye in Week 14. So obviously this next week they are going to face up against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think their offense will be able to keep up with Cincinnati, as the defensive system there for the Bengals is not very good. This is a home game, so they are favored automatically with the home field advantage. But Cincinnati has just looked like they're in a lull. So I could see this not actually being a really good game, and it's just the New England Patriots again demolishing another team. But if Cincinnati comes to play like they have in past weeks, they might actually put up some good numbers here and make this an interesting watch. But at this time, 12 o'clock window, it doesn't look like it's going to be too crazy at this point in time for this game. New England should win, should move to 10-2, and they should stay up here in the top 1 or 2 positions unless somebody below them plays better than what I have seen. At number 3, I have my own Seattle Seahawks. Yes, after the loss to the Rams, a very narrow loss in my opinion too. We stayed in the game even with 4 picks thrown from Sam Darnold. That's the story. Defense played phenomenal, only giving up 21 points, virtually no points in the second half whatsoever. But it was just a rough and tough game. The Rams defense did as much as they could, and they did just enough to get us to get 4 field goals and only 1 touchdown. So right now, it is what it is. Seattle, in my opinion, is still one of the best teams in the league. Even though this was a tough loss, it was really a juggernaut game, to be honest. One of the best teams in the NFL, according to me, the Seattle Seahawks versus the other best team in the NFL, the LA Rams, as I had last week in my power rankings. So I really don't. This one stung, obviously, but I really don't care for it too much because we have other opportunities later in the season where we could win this division back. All we have to do is kind of win. So, which is not too bad for us this week. Obviously, like I said earlier in the video, we have the Tennessee Titans who are 1-9. This is a home game for us. We do struggle at home as our road record is way better. We only have 1 loss to the Rams on the road. But at home, we have about, 2 losses. So doubled. It's not too bad being at 7-3, but I still believe the Seattle Seahawks can clean up a lot of things. And I think this is the week to do it. We have some injuries that we have to get past, but I do think Seattle can do it pretty well and pretty easy. Like I said, our guys are rotating in and out. Have a few guys on IR who should come back in the next, 3 to 4 weeks, as some just got on there. But it doesn't look too bad right before playoffs. So I just want us to stay healthy, play our game, control the clock again, control the defensive and offensive line like we did in this past game. And hopefully we can come out with a good win here that we can be proud of at home. Other than that, guys, Seattle should remain here in the top 3, in my opinion, unless somebody below them plays even better than what the Seahawks showed this week. At number 4, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, this past week, getting the rough and tough win, I really didn't like this game. I thought this was going to be better, especially being a Sunday Night Football game. But they beat Detroit 16-9. So really great defensive game, right? Obviously. But I just felt like both of these teams have a lot left in the tank. We've seen the trade news for A.J. Brown, even though the trade deadline has passed. Obviously, A.J. Brown is going to keep that in his head until the end of the season. I do think this team will make the playoffs, but really, how much of a factor is A.J. Brown in that passing game? Dallas Goedert looks like one of the best wide receivers at the tight end position. Saquon Barkley looks mediocre this year with that O-line. Still good, but they just can't get anything going. Next week, obviously, they have a easier matchup, in my opinion, against the Dallas Cowboys. But we've seen the Dallas Cowboys actually go off on offense. So we'll see what happens. I think Philadelphia's defense is really good, especially when they play the Cowboys. They just have another level in the tank that they can get. So in my opinion, this one should be a fun one to watch. It's at the 3:25 window for us Central Timers, so the midday game. But I think Philadelphia should win this game. It really doesn't matter to me who gets this game. This team is on the NFC side, but really, they're still going to lead their division. So they'll still be in the playoffs no matter what. Dallas is way out of the playoff push, in my opinion, but you'd never know. So at this point in time, let me know down in the comments, guys. Do you think the Eagles are one of the best teams, or do you think they're just pretenders at this point in time, scraping by just enough with their defense, which, in my opinion, defense wins championships. So let me know, guys. Here at number 5, I have the team that was on the bye week, the only one in the top 10, the Indianapolis Colts. So they moved up, actually, because a couple of teams in front of them just, moved down because of some horrible games. Well, not horrible, but, some losses that just did not look pretty. So obviously, bye week, really can't talk much on it, but we can talk about their next opponent, who's going to be a tough one. And then after that, I do believe they have another tough one. Let me just double check, make sure I have it correct. Yeah, they have back-to-back-to-back tough games, as they're going to have Kansas City this week. They will have the Texans, and then they will have a rivalry game against their, second place team who's on their heels. So if this team loses 2 games, one to the Kansas City Chiefs, one to the Texans, uh, or even maybe one to the Jacksonville Jaguars in week 14, this could be a tough one, because obviously in week 15, if you guys don't already know, the Colts will play the Seattle Seahawks at home. So, in our home, CenturyLink, Lumen Field, whatever one you want to call it. I still call it CenturyLink because I like that name. But it's a tough road for the Colts here. So I really don't look too much in the future, but this is a team that leads their division by 2 games. And I think it could come down to these next 4 games to see who's going to win this division. Obviously, the Houston Texans have to win out if they want to be at the top here. The Jacksonville Jaguars should win at least 3 out of the next 4 if they want to be on the top dog above the Indianapolis Colts. And obviously, those other 2 teams need the Indy Colts either to lose 2 games or 3 games. Majority of the time, it's 3 games, so that way they can get over that hump with the tiebreakers and all that stuff. But the Colts have a tough type of sledding schedule here, with 2 divisional games upcoming, 1 really tough one this upcoming week against Kansas City. So it should be pretty interesting. And this is in Arrowhead Stadium, Geha Stadium. So Indy's got their work cut out for them the next 4 weeks. I really do think they could lose a lot of these games. Maybe if they're lucky, they can come out with 3 wins somehow. But I think it's going to be more looking at 1 or 2 wins at the very max for them. But let me know down in the comments, guys. Do you think the Colts' reign and Daniel Jones's, spectacular run ends here? Let us know. They have been one of the teams to score the most points in the league on average so far, even with a bad couple of weeks here. But do they move forward? Do they make the playoffs? Or are they booted down by the Texans or Jaguars and they take the last spot? Here at number 6, I have the Denver Broncos. Another really good defensive showing for them. This game really was a little low scoring at first, right? Kansas City Chiefs is who they played. They won 22-19 to stay on top of the division alone by quite a bit of games. So now the Chargers are 2.5 games behind, and the Kansas City Chiefs are now, 5.5 games behind because of the tiebreaker here from Denver. So Kansas City may not even make the playoffs. Let's look at the playoff indicators here. They are 2 spots behind with the same record as the Baltimore Ravens, the Houston Texans, and obviously a couple of games behind their counterparts there in the Chargers and in the Denver Broncos. So a lot of work here for the Kansas City Chiefs if they want to beat these Broncos here that are just playing pretty spectacular football. Not much offensively, but defensively. The defense really carries this team, and Bo Nix in that running game there. They just do enough, right? So they have the players to get them and scrape by to a win. But like I said earlier in this video, defense wins championships. And I think the Broncos have the best defense besides the Patriots. I still think they edge maybe the Patriots out for the best defense right now because they have just been doing it game in and game out against tougher opponents, in my opinion. And this game showed it. So 22-19 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, this next week they are going to go ahead and be on their bye week. So they get a rest here, sitting atop the division, but that just gives, their counterparts here in the division a chance to kind of catch up, hopefully. So obviously we need the Kansas City Chiefs to win. The LA Chargers are also on a bye week, so not really too much with them. But like I said and alluded to earlier, the Kansas City Chiefs have the Indianapolis Colts to play. So for Denver, they are sitting pretty here on their bye week, and they should remain up here unless something drastic happens with the teams below them. Sitting here at number 7, I have the Buffalo Bills. Played well this past week, putting a lot of points up. It was mostly Josh Allen with 6 dang touchdowns. 44 points is what the Bills scored, and I believe 44 points is what Josh Allen scored in fantasy this week. Could be a little more, could be a little less. I can't remember, but I know it was in the 40s. Tampa Bay just got the short end of the stick here. They were keeping up the whole time, which is why Josh Allen and the Bills had their foot on the pedal. But Tampa Bay just, broke off a little bit into the fourth quarter there, could not keep up. It is what it is, but Tampa Bay's offense is back, hopefully. Whenever they have these tougher matchups, it seems like they bring out another level, another gear. But we have to see them do that going into the playoffs, right? We're still about 7 weeks away from the playoffs, including this week. So we have a lot to go. But at this point in time, I do think this is another tough matchup for them against a tough defense. So if they can do what they did last week against this defense, I might be a little bit of a believer that they can play really great. So make sure you watch that game tonight. They are going against the Texans here in Houston. So it's inside of a dome. I don't know if they're going to have, the upper deck open, but really weather right now, unless it starts to rain within the next 6 hours or so, or maybe for me right now, the game should start around 8 o'clock. So maybe about 10 hours from now, if it starts raining, I don't know if they'll have that stadium open. They look at the forecast a lot, and they usually try not to ruin their field there at NRG. So Buffalo has a tough matchup this week. Thursday Night Football, all lights are on them. Nobody else is playing. So it should be a good one in my opinion, but I could also see Buffalo run away with this one. Let me know down in the comments, guys. What do you think the score will be tonight for the Bills and Texans? Do you think the Bills are pretenders, or do you think they're here to stay and hopefully make a run if the Chiefs don't make it? Sitting here at number 8, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. Moving down. So obviously not their best week, losing 19-22 against the Denver Broncos, their counterparts there in the AFC West. So they are sitting at the 3rd spot officially at 500 even, 5-5 in the AFC West, below the Chargers, below the Denver Broncos, and only 3 games above the Las Vegas Raiders, 3.5 because they have the tiebreaker on them. But this is wild, right? This is not what we usually see from the Kansas City Chiefs. They are virtually pretty healthy right now. They just have not hit their rhythm yet. And Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, that running game, Spag in the defense there. I feel like they have to just do a little bit more now. And they actually have to really, really get something going, because if not, they can see their playoff future goodbye. So again, like I said earlier in this video, they face the Indianapolis Colts. This is a home game for them, so it should be pretty good. They are favored at this point in time for being the home team at -3.5. So I think this one should be good, right? We'll have to wait for Sunday, 12 o'clock slate, or the lunchtime slate for most of you guys. I don't know what to expect from this one, right? The Colts have a decent defense, but the Kansas City Chiefs have a way better defense. But on the flip side, the offensive side, for offensive grading, Kansas City does not put up a lot of points at this point in time against tougher matchups like this. Indy does. They are 8-2 for a reason, but is this the end of their reign? Can the Kansas City Chiefs knock them off their high horse? And can the Chiefs, ride away with a win here? I don't know. It's going to be tough, but I do think it's possible, but I also think it's possible for the Colts to win. So let me know down in the comments, guys. Do you think the Chiefs are done? Do you think their dynasty is over? Or are we overreacting here and they're about to bring the hammer down on the league again? Sitting here at number 9, I have the Detroit Lions. Again, another team, lackluster performance here. This is why they moved down this week, losing to the Philadelphia Eagles 9-16. Really a horrible game, right? Run game, pass game, special teams, defense, offense, everything was just piss poor for the top 10 teams here. But they played just well enough, in my opinion, to get the number 9 spot and not the 10 spot, or fall out of the top 10. So at this point in time, I do think the Detroit Lions are still a great team. Obviously, in the NFC North there, they are sitting also at the third position, just like the Kansas City Chiefs, but they are about one game away from flipping the script there. Obviously, tied almost with the Green Bay Packers, but the Green Bay Packers are 6-3-1, so they have a half game ahead of them and one full game behind the Chicago Bears. So obviously, they want the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers to lose, but they also want to win here, get that record a little bit better. It seems like they've also just hit a funk here, like the Kansas City Chiefs above them. So 6-4, they will face the New York Giants here, so it should be a game that they should win. They're favored by 10.5 at this point in time that I'm recording, and I think they'll do it, obviously. New York's defense is not anything to roll over, though. They are a good defense, and I think that, they can give some trouble here to the Detroit Lions. But if the Detroit Lions play football like they have been playing football, I do believe the Detroit Lions will be all right. So we should look to see them at 7-4 here. But let me know down in the comments, guys, do you think the Detroit Lions do not make the playoffs? And if they do not, who is going to kick them out? Will it be the Packers? Will it be the Bears and win this division? Because at this point in time, the NFC is looking with them out of the playoff picture. They sit just one game below, pretty much tied with the Carolina Panthers. They're at 6-5, but the Detroit Lions are 6-4, needing a late bye week again for the Carolina Panthers as well. And sitting here at number 10, they slide back into the top 10. So, Reed, just for you this week, as we are going to Lambeau on Saturday to watch the Sunday game at 12 o'clock, we have the Green Bay Packers right here, sitting pretty, making it back in. And they had a good game this week, right? But they let the New York Giants, who are playing the Detroit Lions above them, they let the New York Giants keep this one really, really close. Obviously, some injuries to Josh Jacobs. Love was out for a quick second, but I don't know, right? 27-20 victory over the Giants here is just not enough for me. I think defense really did not play up to their ability, but I have to give, my hat off to Jameis Winston coming in with the spectacular quote that God was going to lead him into this game and do whatever he needed for them to win. But it just wasn't enough at this point in time. Jameis Winston had a few mistakes here and there. The Giants had a few mistakes here and there, but so did the Packers. But at this point in time, they just played a good enough game to get this dub very, very late, in my opinion, also. Game was nick and neck, tied. Lead changes, not really too much, but they're always right there. So the New York Giants played a great game. I do think the Packers need to step it up going into this next week because we are going to be there live. I want to see a really good game in Lambeau. I'm not going to freeze off my butt cheeks just to go stand out there and watch the Vikings come to Green Bay and beat the Green Bay Packers. I'm looking for the whole Green Bay Lambeau experience where Lambeau is beating one of their divisional rivals and just sticking it to them, right? Just sticking it to them. I want to see that. I want to see some rough and tough, hits here and there. I want to see the offense going off with these cool celebrations and everything. I want to see some Lambeau leaps. That's what I want to see. I want the full experience here in Lambeau. I'm sure Reed and AJ do as well. But the Green Bay Packers just slide in here, 6-3-1 at my 10th spot for the power rankings. And I believe they should move up here, right? I believe it. But we will have to wait and see. 12 o'clock window on Sunday. I do think the Packers are a good enough team to stay here in the top 10. And they should move up just a little bit to maybe still stay within the NFC playoffs here, as it is getting pretty sticky, boys and girls. They sit at the 6th spot. If they lose this game, they could see themselves out of the playoff picture just for a little bit, and the San Francisco 49ers will move up. Either Detroit or Carolina will move up into their spot. So we will see what happens, but at this point in time, I'm looking and liking what I see. So let me know down in the comments, guys. Do you think these power rankings are accurate? Do you think a team should be moving up or down? And here are the other rankings right here, 11 through 20, 21 through 32, as they are on the screen. Thank you guys so much. Let me know down in the comments, who do you think is going to make the playoffs out of these top 10 ranking teams, and who do you think slides in later this year? Other than that, guys, we thank you, appreciate you. Leave a like, leave a comment. If you're feeling generous and you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and hopefully you are loving the content that we have here. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. And as we always say, keep on grinding.